Most people in the XRP Ledger community don't know much about escrows and smart escrows. I found this movie from Vet that talks about all of this and more. I also have some great information about escrows from Confusion. This video is all about smart escrows and the XRP system. Let's get started, guys. As I said, if you find this video useful, please hit like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. We're on our way to 100,000 members, and I'd love for you to join us. Let's go. Hey, I'd like to talk to you about smart escrows today. As people talk about smart contracts and programmability coming to the XRPL platform, smart escrows make sense. I think you know about that. And add-ins, smart add-ons. Smart escrows will be the first step in that direction, and they will add a great function to the XRP. Let me quickly go over it with you so that you can picture what that will look like and where it will add that smart touch. But first, it's important to know what escrows are and how they show up on the XRP record. The XRPL has had escrows for a long time this way. They've been around for a very long time, since at least 2016, and the XRPL has shown that they work. They keep a lot of values safe. Just think about the Ripple escrow. It's a trait that everyone knows about then, but it also has a trait that makes it a great place to start moving towards smart contracts. Okay, let's look into it. So the best way to picture an escrow or escrows is as a thing on a ledger that looks like a gold chest, okay? I'm doing my best to draw that now. I'm going to do well here. This is how it will look. Oh, I see. It also locks, which I meant to say. Okay, it does have a lock, and at the moment there can only be XRP in the lockup. Okay, I'll draw that out too. Okay, so just XRP. Also, here is an XRP coin. Coming soon are tools or changes that will make that different, letting you add things like RLUSD, but only XRP for now. Okay, and one of them, or the first one, would come from the handle. Okay, let's begin. When you lock, you time lock, so a time lock function. And a time lock means that the lock will unlock after a certain amount of time, say 30 days or 4 months, so that you can open it. Let's say the lock opens after 4 months. It is no longer closed, okay? You can send XRP to someone else and it will be sent to them. It goes from the source to the receiver. Also, there's this one. The second one is the password. It's a secret code. This is what it's called actually different, but it's really just a password that, when hashed, should match the matching crypto hash and crypto condition. And once you have that, it's also open, right? You show the ledger the password, right? Then the same thing. However, if you also give the password, the lock will be opened and you can send the message again, okay? We now have a password and a time lock. That's really cool. So now we're going to enter what we'll have to do to make it smart, right? This is now the smart lockup. Get a pad. I'm sorry about the frick. When he moves his arm over the mic, I don't think the guy knows how bad it is, but I haven't found any other good ways to explain smart escrow, so here we go. There is a password lock and a time lock, but no third choice, please. Okay, this is going to be the extension. This is the extension. That extension doesn't have a password or time lock. Instead, it's more of a free form. It's a smart contract that you can write many lines of, okay, more than one line of code that can do different things, and does fully unique locks. This is where you can change how your lock works, okay? Here is your lock, which you can now change. You can change it by saying something like, please unlock when XRP is above $10, etc. That's about $10 then. That dollar sign is awful. Let's say that XRP is now above. If the price of XRP is higher than $10, or if that person owns an NFT, do that. For example, if I own a certain NFT and show this again to the treasure chest, the lock will be unlocked, letting me use it again. It will go to the receiver. This is the extension that is being added. It has a virtual machine and everything, so this is the first thing that will happen with the virtual machine smart contracts on the XRP platform, and it gives you that extra feature. By the way, you can also have combos, right? You can lock it with a password and a timer. You can have both extension and time lock at the same time, so you can put the locks together, okay? Basically, a treasure box can have more than one lock. That's pretty much it. Right now, this is only for escrows. This isn't for an AMM. This isn't for an account. But extensions are basically that extra feature, right? When the next addition to a feature will happen, that is up to that change and feature. But this is where the smart nature comes in, right? The smart part comes in the form of a locking system, right? So it will come in the form of the escrow's locking system, right? I hope that helps. On top of that, I found this history of escrow on the XRP ledger on Perplexity. The idea of escrow on the XRP ledger has changed a lot over the years, especially in how Ripple, the company that runs the XRP ledger, has changed over time, takes care of its XRP reserves. Here's a full history: early growth and development. Traditionally, an escrow is a contract between two parties or a third party that holds money until certain conditions are met. The XRP system automates this process so you don't need a third party. So not only will this be a big use case for Ripple's escrow of XRP, but it will also be used by banks and other institutions or contracts that need to get rid of a third party like a bank or financial institution. You can do this through escrows on the XRP ledger, which is going to be a very useful business tool. The ledger can handle 3 different types of XRP ledger: conditional escrow, based on time, and mix escrow. These make it possible to handle XRP in a way that is flexible, based on time. Then there is Ripple's original allocation from escrow when XRP was made. 80% of the 100 billion XRP that were available were given to Ripple. The co-founders were to get the last 20%. When escrow was set up in 2017, Ripple put 55 billion XRP into a number of escrows to control the supply and give the market more stability. This was done to calm people's worries about how big sales of XRP might affect the market. Based on how escrows work, these escrows release 1 billion XRP every month for 55 months. Any XRP that isn't used by the end of the month is put into a new lockup. This makes sure that the XRP is released into circulation slowly. In the past few days, I've seen several people on Twitter who call themselves XRP influencers say that all of the XRP in lockup has already been assigned and bought by banks. I have a lot of problems with that, but the main one is that if all of this XRP was pre-sold, why do they usually lock it again when Ripple opens it? A big chunk of that freed XRP. If it was really bought or set up to be given to a bank or financial institution, they would go ahead and do the deal and send it to the bank. It's not likely that the bank will want to keep it locked up for another 3 or 4 years. Because of that, that is my biggest problem. Along those lines of thought, also says security with multiple signatures. For extra security, these accounts that get XRP from escrows use a multi-signature system that lets the signers change without changing the money. New information about escrow balance decrease. As of November 2025, the Ripple escrow amount has dropped from 55 billion XRP to 38.9 billion XRP, which makes you wonder what happened. The managed release of XRP from escrow has been a key part of controlling the token supply and affecting its market price. This is because XRP is still being released into circulation. Some of these released XRP are used by Ripple to pay its operations, which can change the way the market works. So I hope this helped you all understand better. Could you please use both Smart Escrows and Waves Escrows? Please let me know in the comments if this was useful to you. I'll see you next week. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.